welcome to an animated special. No, it's an animation special. We're talking about animation.
Oh, I thought you were going to animate us. That would be fun.
Hey, animation is not easy. You can't just throw any old shit out there and say that you've done a good job.
Oh, you wanted me to move? Is that what you're
Unless
saying?
you... No, but you've interrupted a pun that would have been rude.
I'm
I'm glad
sorry.
I didn't. I'm glad I didn't do it now, to be fair. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Doctor Who Review. I'm Chris.
I'm not Chris. It's Sunday and we're in our pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas! Today...
Get changed. No, I shan't. It's Sunday.
Oh, short, it's Sunday. Since we're at the end of Series 3 now, we've watched Series 3, we thought we'd go back and watch the extra Series 3 story of Doctor Who. And while we're at it, we'll watch the other thing that kind of fits into the same category. So this is like when we did the Cushing movies and An Adventure in Space and Time, because they were all adaptations of stuff around the beginning of the show. In this case, bless you, we are here to talk about Doctor Who, The Infinite Quest, and Doctor Who Dreamland.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay. And if you're wondering why The Infinite Quest is still in this wrapper, it's because I bought it ages ago. Never opened the DVD version, but we watched it on the Steelbook 2009 specials, because it's included on there, both of them are included on there as a bonus disc, in high definition.
Oh, yay.
Along with The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith. But I've kept the DVDs because both of them have extras that are like unique to the DVDs that haven't been put on the other sets. So the DVDs ain't going anywhere. Plus, it just looks nicer for us to stick up the DVDs here while we're talking about them.
It does, darling.
Let's talk about The Infinite Quest. The Infinite Quest went out in 12 parts over as a segment of a series of Totally Doctor Who, which we've not really talked about here on the show, but a brief summation. It was a CBBC, children's BBC, tie into Doctor Who that was a behind-the-scenes programme. It had like a game show element, the Companion Academy on it, where kids competed to be the companion, doing challenges like behind-the-scenes stuff, so like working with the choreographer on like coming up with monsters and, you know, like how you get out of these scenarios and this, that and the other. It was hosted by a bunch of people. I think Barney Harwood was in both series of it as main host. Lovely Barney. Little Barney Hugh. And who makes an appearance in The Infinite Quest. He has a cameo as a voice part in it.
He does.
And it pulled a lot of viewing figures for CBBC back in its day because it would go out on, I think it was CBBC Channel or BBC One or simulcast on, if I remember right, it was a Thursday or a Friday. And at the very end, there would be a sneak preview of that weekend's episode of Doctor Who. So it was one of those where kids who enjoyed Doctor Who would watch this and get something out of it. Kids who just like creative stuff could watch it for the behind-the-scenes aspect of it all, like making TV. And kids and adults alike would tune in toward the last 5 minutes if they weren't already watching it, so they could get a sneak preview that hadn't been shown anywhere else of that weekend's episode. So it was kind of a cool idea. In the first series of Totally Doctor Who, they did all that stuff. In the second series that coincided with Series 3 of Doctor Who, they did The Infinite Quest, which is an animated episode, broken down into 12 parts. That then, after Totally Doctor Who's, it was either its last episode of that series or after the series had aired, you could see the 13th part at the end of an omnibus. The omnibus in question is what we watched, because when you put all the parts together, it's a full-length 45-minute episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, and the way that they're made, it doesn't seem strange to cut it up.
Because there were little cliffhangers at the end of these clips, and we played a bit of a game while we were watching it of Spot the Cliffhanger.
Yeah, but if you weren't doing that, you wouldn't really notice them, I don't think.
Yeah, the way it's edited together, it's not like when every cliffhanger happens, the music's sort of like... Like, because otherwise that'd be really annoying every 5 minutes.
And then the beginning of each one, previously.
Yeah. Totally Doctor Who, The Infinite Quest.
Doctor, are you alright? You're having respiratory failure.
Oh, I haven't had respiratory failure for years! It's becoming an in-joke off camera now, but
oh, God.
What a fun one. Biff Bang Wallop, what a picture. So, would you like to describe the basic plot of The Infinite Quest?
Yes, so... the Doctor...
Are you reading from the Wikipedia article?
No, God, that would take me ages.
Oh, thank Christ. I thought you were looking at the summary.
Well,
Don't read the Wikipedia article.
The Doctor and Martha end up on this ship.
Well, it sounds like they're purposefully popping by to stop something that they know is going on and then just bugger off, basically.
Yeah, and the Doctor's like, oh, this is this alien, and they did this. And
Remember his
Martha's
name?
like, whoa.
Balthazar.
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 It says here Balthazar.
It's Balthazar.
It says Balthazar.
Everyone pronounces it Balthazar. The Dread Pirate
It's
Balthazar.
pronounced Balthazar.
You're Balthazar.
Okay, it does say Balthazar, but I was just trying to cover the fact that I got it wrong. Anyway.
So Balthazar
Balthazar's like...
And his minion Squawk?
What are you
Is that his
doing
name?
Here? Let's have a wee little look at it. Core. What did you call him?
Squawk. Same thing. So, Core's his metal pirate, and Balthazar is a creepy sort of... Balthazar is a really interesting character, but I always feel like he looks incomplete. The lack of sleeves are sort of like... It looks like he should have a coat or something on.
Yeah.
I still like his design.
Yeah.
It's very comic book.
It looks like something out of, like, a New Age Hellboy or something.
Yeah, the colour scheme of him and that. He looks like Abe Sapien meets... What's the gas mask guy?
I can't remember, but I know he means...
You know, the one who's the character who was just a gas living in a diving suit. It's alright, it's okay.
Played by...
No, forget that. I'm talking about in the comics. Like, it's the same kind of design.
Bingo Man.
Bullshit Bingo Man. Seth MacFarlane. Bullshit Bingo Man.
Why does he have to sing in everything he does?
Anyway, hey, when you're producing and making your own animated shows, you can force your own showcase talent into every episode if you want.
No, I shan't. It's my own show. And now...
So the Doctor and Martha, voiced by David Tennant and Freema Agyeman, who are really bloody good at animation.
Yeah,
They're both brilliant.
They are.
Like, they nail it. Voice acting for animation on radio is not easy.
You have to express your emotions in your voice as opposed to relying on your face, which is tricky to do.
Some actors can't do it. They can't disassociate on-screen acting. It's the difference between theatre acting and film acting. There is a heightened sense of reality to theatrical acting, even if it is a natural piece, because you are performing it to people who are sat several feet away from you in a giant room where you've got to reach all of them. So you can't do things naturally, even if it appears you are. It's like there's lots of different tightropes to walk in different mediums of performance, and voice acting is one that not everyone can nail. See the adventure games.
See the Charlie's Angels video game.
Oh, that too. No, but the Doctor Who adventure games, like, there's a difference between how Karen Gillan tackles it. She sits in it really well. And how Matt Smith tackles it. Matt doesn't quite... It's not quite right.
I don't think they're making The Crown the video game anytime soon.
No. I mean, hey, he's probably a lot better now, but he just... Yeah. Bless him. It feels very much like he's doing a quiet reading of something when he's voice acting. Versus David and Freema in this, who are just on it. Like, it fits. Yeah, it does. As does Anthony Stewart Head. Yay! Lovely Anthony Head playing Balthazar.
Balthazar.
Don't you try. So they defeat the Dread Space Pirate Balthazar doing whatever he's doing, and then that's it. Except it isn't, because later on in their timeline they get roped in, pretty much almost immediately it's suggested, to finding Core on his home planet.
Yeah.
Years after they defeated Balthazar, and Core's like, "Hiya, Balthazar's out there somewhere.
I'm sorry about what happened."
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was crap of us, but Balthazar's out there somewhere. I want to give you a heads up. He's looking to find these individual, I can't remember what they're called now, but these individual pieces of, it's like jewellery or computer chips, that will legendarily be data chips. There's this legendary story that once combined, they will reveal the location of the infinite.
Yes.
The infinite, and why it's dangerous for Balthazar to get hold of it, is an ancient weapon from the dark times. So he even calls it out as something like, before the Rachnos.
Which is a really interesting...
And the great vampires and everything. It's like, it's proper old.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think that outside of this universe, there was something else, but that's been abandoned and left and is dark and...
Well, with the shows dived into it, like, that's what the Nestines come from, and the great vampires in State of Decay, and the Rachnos, like all these things that are from a very long time ago. And the Infinite is a weapon that apparently will grant the owner's greatest desire It will give them their heart's desire. So, of course, Balthazar wants, like, all the riches in the universe, and he doesn't care how many people he kills to get them. So, it could be dangerous. Because he could use it for all the riches, he could use it to take all the riches. So, the Infinite Quest is what it says in the tin. The Doctor and Martha go to find these data chips so that they can get hold of them before Balthazar does. The twist, of course, is that Core may be a good guy, but he's still...
What are you doing?
The dog is interrupted.
Sorry.
What a little git. Core may genuinely be sorry for what he's done, but he's also the pet robot of Balthazar, who has set this all in motion so that he can follow...
He's double-crossed them.
He can follow the Doctor and Martha and assure that all the data chips are brought together before commandeering the TARDIS and using it to get to the Infinite himself. So, what pros of this story?
I like I like the voice acting.
Yes.
And I like the animation.
Yeah. It's the same style and probably the same teams that did what do you call it? There's a lot of the reconstructed animations on the DVDs. Not all of them, but some. So there's a big kind of... It looks like... If you put a black and white filter over it, it looks like some of the Hartnell recons.
Yeah, it does.
Like the Invasion ones and some of the Troughton ones. It's the same kind of vibe. Which is nice, because it sort of makes it feel like, oh, they're all connected. Like, this is connected. It's definitely part of the Doctor Who canon, because some of the DVD reconstructions have looked like this.
Yeah.
So they all fit in. Unless it's the Reign of Terror, in which case it's terrifying. So, yeah. I like the animation too. I like the quest pacing, because we go to a few different locations.
Yeah.
We end up first on a big... and again, because it's an animation, this story pushes. It takes it places that they couldn't do on the TV budget. So we end up on the galley of a pirate ship on a planet sphere where...
places are stealing oil.
Places are stealing oil, these giant spider-like oil rigs.
Well, especially from War of the Worlds.
Or Dune or something like that, yeah.
When the aliens are...
tripoding it up and down the place.
Like, spreading blood everywhere.
Yeah. The red weed. Etc.
What the hell was that?
The music from the Jeff Wayne
Beautiful.
version.
I mean, it was beautiful.
So, there's that, and they meet a pirate. Have you got the cast list there? They meet a pirate.
Yes.
Called... Is it Calico? Is that her name?
Calico, yeah. Because I remembered that she had the same name as Alice Cooper's daughter.
Oh, there you go. Fandom. But yeah, she's leading a ship to basically take down these oil rigs and steal oil
on the planet Bukan.
Yeah, steal oil for her people. So very Robin Hood styley.
Yeah, because that is gold.
Yeah.
I mean, it is at the moment.
And her crew are literally a skeleton crew. They're reanimated corpses, just about living in these suits, which is interesting because this is 2007, and next year there's a story featuring spacesuits with skeletons inside them. Obviously, though, the difference is here, these people are still alive.
Yeah.
They're just, this is their body.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them is secretly working for the corporation.
Mr. Swab.
Mr. Swab. Who keeps... Which is great, because when he first appears, he keeps going "Aye, Captain! Arr!" And we were taking the piss, weren't we? Because he kept making pirate sounds.
Pirate noise.
But then it becomes apparent that, that's part of his disguise, because he's working for the corporation, and he's a spy on it all. Because later on, when he's, revealed who he is, he's not doing the pirate sounds anymore. So it's that's actually kind of brilliant. Lisa Tarbuck voices Calico, I think. She's very good.
Lisa
Tarbuck. Gosh darn it. Is that right?
Oh, I'm on the wrong bit. Where did you find that bit?
What are you on? Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Scroll to the top, cast. Live fact check, folks.
Lisa Tarbuck, yeah.
Yeah. And she's wearing one of the data chips as an earring. And she's aware of the infinite myth. So she's like, nope, you're not taking him. You may have saved my life, but you were doing it for ulterior motives to screw you. So she makes to escape. The Doctor and Martha head back toward the TARDIS to find she's been killed.
Uh-oh.
But the data chip's been left behind, so whoever killed her obviously had no interest in it, so they take it, and off they pop. Next we end up on a planet that's basically a giant sort of... Where they land is it looks like a city. On closer inspection, it's like a giant hive.
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of bugs popping here and there and doing their thing. You have effectively a bounty hunter who's got the head of a lizard.
Yeah.
What's he called?
His name is Murgrass.
Murgrass, yeah.
Played by Paul Clayton.
He's great as well.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you first arrive and he rocks up to him like riding on a thing and you're like, lizard man. It's like, oh, you're not the native species. You're literally a Boba Fett. You've just been hired to come in and do this thing.
It makes me think of the frog lady from Mandalorian. That's what she
she's the frog lady for years! But you realise that Calico has spent time in it's Volagnok, isn't it? This space prison.
The prison, yeah.
Which is where Balthazar has apparently broken out of.
Did you say Balthazar?
Maybe. Balthazar broke out of Volagnok.
No, he didn't break out, did he? He was.
No, apparently that's what he did. Like he's broken out. And that's why Cause
he got out for good behaviour or something.
I can't remember, but that's why Cause you need to hurry up because he's going to go after the Infinite.
For revenge.
So she was in Volagnok and she had a piece of the Infinite on her as an earring.
Yeah.
Murgrass I can't remember if he was an inmate or he was a.
No, didn't he like...
Oh, he was like administrative or something, wasn't he? He got stuff in and out of the facility.
Communications or something?
Yeah, he was like the guy who dealt with like prisoners' communiques with the outside world or whatever.
Oh, it doesn't say.
So he ended up with a piece of it too. He's got it in it's like engraved into the armour around his neck. Yeah, are you able to carry on filling in the plot? Because the battery's just leapt downwards.
Oh my god.
I need to go and plug this in. Oh my god.
Sorry. Oh god.
That's alright.
Where did you leave off then? Sorry, I got
Murgrass, the revelation of his this, that and the other, and what's going on that planet with the Queen.
So he's essentially like a little arms dealer for this Queen on this planet. He's been hired by the Mantispids, I think that's how you say it. And they're essentially angry at humans for killing them, I think it is. They all they want is a fertile planet with dung on it. That's pretty much what it is. They are poo aliens that love it. And they are fighting against the humans who have decided that they're just gonna blow it up. If we can't have the planet, we're just gonna blow you all up.
Could explode the place.
Yeah, and so that's why that's why the Queen person has hired the lizard man, Murgrass.
That's the Queen person's hired the lizard fella. I mean, you're not wrong. He's a lizard fella.
And he's got these weapons, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can start them when you give me the money." And she's like, "Ah, I was never going to give you the money,
You bastard!"
And he was like, "Well, I'll
What's her
just
name again?
take my weapons and go."
I'll take me weapons and jog on, sir. What's her name again?
Oh, it just says Mattisford Queen.
That's her name. The Mattisford Queen. Just wanted to check. Just wanted to see.
Hold on.
Wait, are you looking for the actor?
No, the doctor's got to kind of sort the situation out, and he pretends he's a pirate.
Yar! What's he call himself?
So, Dr. Vile.
Dr. Voyle! This is me first mate mother!
And it proved successful, apparently.
she's like, yeah, avast!
He says, like, look, the humans can have this planet, and you can have the dung.
Yeah.
Like, but you could coexist together.
Coexist for years.
I'm so sorry. I'm so tired.
Don't be daft.
Coexist together, and one of these human soldiers had dropped to the surface.
A very Welsh one.
And he's like, "Yeah, this lad'll be the ambassador for the humans.
Good luck with everything. Bye. I'll see you later.
Right. And
see you in the future. Bye."
Murgrass, walked off. He was like, "Well, you ain't getting my weapons."
Because that's the whole thing. Like the Doctor and Martha are like, we have to resolve this political conflict, amicably, as soon as possible. Not because it will save everyone's life, but so we can get out there and stop Murgrass and be like, "Oi, mate,
can I have
can we have that thing on your neck?" But when they get out,
He's dead.
He's dead, but he's dead. You said he was dead. Specifically, like his sort of his respiratory equipment has been broken,
so
he's dried up.
He suffocated, which is nasty.
And that's at that point the doctor's like, right.
And Martha's like, oh my god, it's just like how Calico died. And Doc's like, yeah.
Bloody is, isn't it? Well, let's take this data chip and jog right on.
Well, there's nothing we can do for him. He wouldn't want us to mourn, so let's go.
Let's bugger off. So he kind of has a hunch, so they go to Valagnok to learn a bit more. And when they arrive, the doctor is like, it's like the Red Dwarf episode Justice. Like they arrive and they're basically immediately scanned for crimes.
Oh yeah.
And Martha's done none. She's like, well, of course I haven't. Thank you very much. And the doctor's like 4,003 outstanding incidents or whatever, all ranging from the minor to the extreme.
Yeah.
A lot of them are parking fines.
Library books not returned.
Overdue library books. Yeah. So Martha goes to talk to the warden, and the doctor is imprisoned, and discovers a robot in his cell who couldn't harm him if it wanted to, couldn't harm anyone if it wanted to, even though it's apparently been put in there for, like, you know, violence or whatever, because it's got an inhibitor chip that's been forced into it. Meanwhile, Martha's talking to the warden and deduces pretty damn quickly that it isn't the warden.
Yeah, exactly.
The warden is one of the prisoners who, we learn, got out. Well, that was it. He was the one who got out on good behaviour. But always hated that the warden, who was just, so far as he's just a robot, had income and a cushy job.
Yeah.
And it was unfair.
He's a robot. He was racist against robots.
Yeah. So he came in and basically usurped him and reprogrammed his assistants and shoved the actual warden into a prison cell. Not because he wants to, like, unleash more prisoners or anything like that. He's like, no, I just want that job.
I want to run this town.
It's cushy as hell. And I don't want people to get charged the way I did for stuff like I did, which was really nothing. And people are put away for, you know, less than whatever, and this is harsh. So, no, I'm going to run the place and do a better job of it and make all the cash. So, yeah, the cat's attacking the dog. And the dog's attacking the cat. Fantastic.
And all's well.
But it turns out that the data chip in question this time is locked away in the safe. So they get hold of it, and they realise that, hang on, Balthazar knew about these individual data chips and where they went. Like, Valagnok was obviously where he gathered the information, so he's been having them on. And that's when Balthazar reveals his hand, and he's like, yep, got you, sods. It's there, isn't it? Or did they go somewhere else?
You said Balthazar.
I said Balthazar that time. Did they go there? Did they go somewhere else after the prison planet? I can't remember now.
I don't think so.
And they end up somewhere icy after Valagnok, don't they?
The Valagnok is an ice planet.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah, doesn't the warden try to escape the new guy and he gets...
Because Martha made a joke about not having a coat or something.
But, yeah, Balthazar's like, ha! Yeah, I was actually leading you around. The doctor's like, yeah, I kind of figured that. And they're like, right. So, because Core gets shot down, doesn't he? Core's going to die. He gets shot in his,
mandible.
No, he gets shot in, like, his gut, whatever, and it says the generator, like, the thing that, this and the other. And you realise the reason they've been able to follow them around is because when they first saw Core again at the start of the story, he gave Martha, like, a little bird brooch as a gift.
Yeah.
He sort of, like, coughed it up. And then you realise, yeah, it's actually, like, Core's kid, basically, and that's how Balthazar's been tracking them. Because they're not going through time, like, they're just going through space.
Yeah.
So he's able to triangulate where they are. He hijacks them, leaves the doctor... where's the doctor left? In Valagnok, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's with... Because, Balthazar takes Martha.
Yeah.
And the doctor's left there, and he fixes...
Yeah, so they go to the ship at the edge of the universe where the infinite is. And when the doctor does finally arrive, he's been away for us, like, 3 years or something, isn't it, since he last saw them, because he fixes... he doesn't fix Core.
No, he doesn't fix Core. He fixes his son.
He helps upgrade his son over the years, and he, like, helps Valagnok as a prison society and stuff and all this. So when he leaves, he flies back. But we get a fake out, don't we? We get a fake out that the Doctor's already arrived somehow else. Because Martha sees him. I like that. I like the fact that when they get there, Balthazar's like, right, out you go.
Course child is called Squawk, by the way. That's
there
why
we go.
mixed up.
So like Balthazar's like, right, you go first. And he basically shoves Martha in first. He's like, right, it might be dangerous, you go explore it first.
Go!
I like when he go, girlie. He's just sort of calling after her. Anthony Head is a goddamn treasure.
Yeah.
There's a recurring thing as well in these animations of actors who've already been in the show playing a different role in the animations. So this is his second stab at a televised Doctor Who story after school reunion. But Martha isn't seeing the Doctor; she's just seeing what her heart desires. Because we learn, Series 3 story arc. Because we learn that the Infinite is still sort of there. But
it's like an echo of it.
But it's dying. Yeah, it's long since faded out, and what's remaining is just sort of this shimmer of it. So when the Doctor finally arrives, it does that creepy thing, doesn't it, where he's talking to her, and it just sort of, its eyes, mouth starts to open and glow. And it just looks really creepy.
Gross.
And the Doctor arrives, and it tries to, I think that was quite interesting, it tries to sort of warp into whatever his greatest desire would be, and he basically tells it, you don't want to do that.
I wonder what it would be.
I don't know, the Return of Gallifrey. Rose,
maybe.
I don't know. But I like the fact that it's left open. There's a sort of opposite version of that in, although they answer it later, in the God Complex in Series 6 one from the hotel.
Yeah.
Everyone's greatest fears.
Oh yeah,
in
those
door.
rooms, yeah.
He opens through the door and you see it from the point of view of what's ever in the room instead, and he's like, of course it was you. And he closes the door and you have no idea what it was. And then they answer it later and it's not that great.
Is it the Master?
No, it's a cracking time. But anyway.
How very interesting.
Not very boring. But yeah, so Balthazar sees all the gold in the world, which is distraction enough for Squawk to screw him over and try and blow the place up, essentially. And Balthazar seemingly goes down with the ship, though we learn later he doesn't, because Squawk took him away and drops him off in Volagnok.
Yeah.
Ha It's cute.
In your face, man!
In your face, man! It's cute, and what it does really well is it takes advantage of the animated format to get over what would normally be a giant obstacle, i.e. the budget.
Yeah.
We go to several different planets. Like, we go to alien worlds. There isn't a single second spent on Earth. Everyone is a really unique design. We have lizard-headed, like, bounty hunters and giant praying manti and giant mechanical birds. Like, it's really inventive.
It is.
It's a lot of fun. Is it essential viewing for Series 3? No. But if you enjoyed Series 3 and you want a little bit more, watch The Infinite Quest. I recommend it a lot.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, Christopher has pretty much forced me to watch these.
Well, I said we're watching old televised Doctor Who, didn't I? So, this is televised Doctor Who.
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't looking forward to it. So, this one I was pleasantly surprised because the acting was great. I liked the animation. The story was good. The actors are great.
Because it's flash animation, but the direction's really... It works with it really well.
Yeah.
And because it is the basic designs, the two characters who are meant to look like characters we already know They already know. They look like Freeman, they look like David. Though we spotted one really weird shot toward the end where Martha's eyes had a different expressive design than
they were like
did
a
throughout the whole
shape.
thing.
It
was really weird.
But there was a moment in it where when the Doctor's pretending to be a pirate, Martha's like jumping in like, Arr! And the Doctor's just like,
No, don't do that. Yay! Recurring motifs.
In joke. And then will you stop climbing on me? For the love of...
The Infinite Quest is fun. The DVD comes with a load of behind-the-scenes features. None on the Blu-ray box set version. We move now, though, to The Future, a story from the 2009 Specials era. Technically, the second-to-last 10th Doctor story to be televised during his run. Because Waters of Mars came out in late November. Early November. This was early December in its completed form, because this also came out in multiple parts. on the Red Button service, and then it was screened when it finished as a full 45 minutes.
The Red Button service, is that still a thing?
Yes and no. It's so interchangeable that I'm not going to commit to an answer, because sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't.
Okay.
But Doctor Who Dreamland. So we showed this a lot on CBBC when I was working there, because it's a 45-minute animated episode of Doctor Who. Like, why not? Problem is, the best thing about Dreamland is its script, and a lot of the performances are very good.
Yeah.
So when I was seeing it at work, because I watched it go out in 2009, and that was kind of it. When I was seeing it at work, it was just on monitors in the background with no sound coming out of the monitors, because we were rehearsing or recording stuff in the studio. So my relationship with Dreamland is, I am sick of looking at Dreamland.
It's a good story.
Yeah, pros. Tennant's vocal performance. The setup of the shots, like the direction of the actual action, especially when there's pacing, is really nice.
Yeah.
The script is really good. The story's better in its second half.
Yeah. There's more going on.
And there's some again, the animation medium allows for a lot of inventive things.
The direction is great.
Yeah, have you got the cast up on your dingly do? I think I've got this one up actually. Oh yeah. So like the direction of Lord Aslock and sorry, the design of Lord Aslock and his species, which are, come on, wiki, Viperox, are great. The look of Saruba Valak and Rivesh Mantalax, who always go full name, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
As like the typical grey alien design.
Yeah.
Is cute and works really well.
Yeah.
It's even not distracting. They're kind of cute, and that's not distracting in the flashbacks to their planet at war with the Viperox. I believe that those little dudes are running around with ray guns and getting hurt and whatever. I'm like, sure.
I can't help it. Every time I see a grey, I think of oh god, is it Destroy All? Is it Destroy All?
Destroy All Humans? Yeah.
That was such a fun friggin' game.
Second one was even better. I think we have one actually.
We have an Xbox.
No, we don't. None of your games are here.
I've got it on Xbox.
They're in the loft at your mum and dad's, so we need to dig them out. But yeah, so that's great. You noticed the repurposing of the music was brilliant, because there's no original music in Dreamland. It's all reusing stuff from Murray Gold's scores for the first 4 series.
But that's okay, because it's good.
It's all reused really well. Like the editing of it and the choice of what tracks to use. The jokes are fantastic, I think. I think all the gags in it are great, especially the one where the Doctor and one of the Greys is trying to avoid that, like, that swarm of, like, you know, things, the bugs that are going to kill them inside the lockup at Area 51. And they get out by hiding in a box, and once it's moved away, he unscrews the bottom of the crate and reveals that he counted all of their steps to get to that point, what direction to go. So then because he says, like, always count your steps, especially if you need to hide in a box. Because then the box just starts, like Metal Gear Solid, this box just starts walking along the corridor. That's great. I like the fact that his entire knowledge of using the ventilation shaft to escape doesn't come from his own adventures, but from Die Hard 1 to 3 and Alien and Aliens. The premise of the story is great. Like, the Doctor at Area 51.
Yeah. Of
course. And the idea being that he popped back to this time because he just wanted some chili from a diner, because it's the best, like, takeout on the road chili that he's ever had, is from that era. And it just turns out that he's near Area 51, and then he's like, "Oh, I always wanted to go there, Dreamland, let's go."
Oh, there's a thing in your cafeteria.
I haven't been to Dreamland for years.
Oh, reel him in. The Doctor's overdrived.
I like the continuity in this. There's a nice use of universe building. The ship that the Greys drive is later on in a earlier on, like a month before, in Prisoner of the Jadoon, Sarah Jane Adventure story. The villain in that, Androvax, hacks into Mr. Smith because it uses a database of ships to have one built at this facility so that it can get off planet.
Oh.
And it uses the database of Area 51. And the ship that's constructed is the same ship that crashed at Area 51 at the start of this story.
That's really cool.
So that big, like, bronze circular ship is then built in CGI, but the inside of it as a live-action set, and it's almost exactly the same.
That's cool. In
Sarah Jane Adventures Prisoners of Jadoon. That is a great bit of crossover.
It looks a little bit like Aquila.
Yes, it's got a colour of, well, flatter, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's flatter and wider, but the colour and the...
Well, so it's nothing like Aquila, but it reminded Lucy of Aquila.
It reminded me
Everything
of
reminds you of Aquila.
Aquila.
The post comes through the door. Oh, honey, do you remember Aquila?
Just wake up in the night. Aquila!
Microwave goes off. Bing! Oh, I used to eat food whilst watching Aquila. Half of our viewers are like, what the hell are you talking about? Just search the opening titles. Romans and spaceships, yay.
Yay! And stones and things.
And dreams. Low budget fun.
It was great. I assume.
Was it?
I don't know, I can't remember. I'm looking at it through nostalgia. Rose-tinted glasses.
How the hell did we get onto that? Oh, continuity.
Nostalgia glasses.
Mr. Dread. And I can't remember what they're called now, but the robots that he's with, the men in black in the story, who turn out to have nothing to do with Area 51 or the American government, is a great touch.
They're after a piece of summit that was on display in this diner that he was at the beginning.
Yeah, these... and
the Doctor touches it, and it's like, ooh, and it goes a bit mentile.
Well, these guys are working on behalf of a conglomerate, whatever, called the Alliance of Shades, who every now and again send these sort of robotic men in black to Earth to cover up alien activity when they feel Earth isn't ready for it yet. So it's an in-universe explanation in Doctor Who of who Men in Black are. It's like, oh, Men in Black, where people show up and deal with this, that, and the other. It's not an Earth organisation. It's an extraterrestrial practice where they send androids that look like members of the population to the planet to erase evidence of extraterrestrial activity if they don't feel that that planet is ready for it yet. That is a great idea.
It is a great idea.
And Mr. Dread, though we see him, because it turns out he's been reprogrammed by, what's his name, Lord Doodleflip. Lord Aslock. He's been reprogrammed by Lord Aslock before this story to help find the bits and pieces for the ship. Not because it's the hardware for it to take off, but because it's a deadly chemical psionic weapon. He's been reprogrammed for that, and he gets totaled at the end of this. Like the Doctor short circuits him and he just collapses in the thingy room. Well, he survives because the Sarah Jane Adventures Series 4 story, a year after this, The Vault of Secrets, features Men in Black who are androids, led by Mr. Dread.
That's cool.
So he comes back.
Is he in that episode with the Jejune?
No, so yeah, it's a separate story, but it is a story with the Androvacs. So the first Androvac story, the Androvacs is a recurring villain in Sarah Jane Adventures. It's in 2 stories. Its first story features the spaceship from Dreamland, and the actual core of the spaceship in that looks like the one that in this is a bomb in disguise. And the second Androvac story features Mr. Dread and the Men in Black. So if you like Sarah Jane Adventures, worth checking out Dreamland, because there's 2 massive continuity things which technically start chronologically here. So enjoy.
That's very interesting, Mr. Boone.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's the end of the positives. This is an ugly ass looking story. Dreamland is ugly to look at. It is tough to look at. Not the pacing, not the set pieces, not the direction. The animation. The designs of the human characters. This is... Oh.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because it's distracting.
Yeah. And it's just...
There's a moment where the Doctor sonics a panel on a wall as a distraction for something, for soldiers.
Yeah,
and the way he flips his sonic screwdriver is like, whoa, what happened there? They obviously missed that bit because his arm was flailing at an angle that humans don't bend. I mean, I know he's a Time Lord, but come on.
It's
not good.
CGI animation throughout the late 90s, early 2000s, started to show up in kids' programs, and some started to be made completely in computer.
Yeah.
And when I say CGI animation, made completely computer, I'm talking about CGI 3D designs as opposed to, say, flash animation or animation that is rendered or processed through computer, computer as a means of thingy. Like,
what?
The first sort of animated series I can think of that did it, and that was the whole basis, was Reboot, which was mid to late 90s. That was CGI. And it stood out at the time looking great because it was just so unique to look at. But then you started to get, I think Roblox. There was it was either Roblox or something like that. There was a thing, it was a Cubix. That was it, it was called Cubix. It was a robot that was a cube and it was a toy. And it looked ugly. That was CBBC era, early sort of 2000s. The But Ugly Martians. Hideous looking animated series.
Didn't you remember that as we were watching it?
Yeah, I mean, great theme song. Fun voice acting. One of the smart decisions where they're like, we've got Rob Paulson on the cast.
Yay!
We should probably have him voice at least 2 of the main cast members. Yes, good choice.
Who doesn't love Rob Paulson? If you say you don't, you're a liar.
Why point at me? I'd love him.
I know you do.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
Anyway.
But yeah, But Ugly Martians is a but ugly looking show. It looks hideous, but the thing is, it moves hideous. The ugliest thing in it is the human characters. The human characters look horrible. Ace Lightning was a UK Canadian crossover thing about kids' comics coming to life, and the villains and some of the heroes were based in this amusement park in town. And the designs were great, but the way they moved was hideous. It just never looked right. Especially when they're in live action, because you see how people moved and then how these characters moved alongside them. You're like, what is this? We're at the point now where fully CGI animated series look, this is a controversial statement, they look fine. They look fine. Clone Wars looks fine. Rebels, better. Rebels looks way better.
Yes.
But then Resistance, whatever it's called, these are Star Wars shows in case I was confused. Resistance is a step back, to my money.
Okay.
A lot of them. Clone Wars has some excellent stories, excellent storytelling, excellent direction, excellent voice acting. But they do kind of look like Jerry Anderson era marionettes being made to behave. There's no wild expression. All the movements are more subtle and very calculated.
Right.
Almost as though if they moved more than that, they would look unnatural. Like Doctor Who Dreamland. There's no happy medium yet.
No.
I recently dug into the Netflix show. Wouldn't have been recently, would have been when it started, so about a year before you guys see this, pretty much. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. I watched a few episodes of that. Again, the dinosaurs, great. The people, designs are fine, but it's that weird kind of, we move very stiff. We do these very simple movements. Because if they try to emote further than that, they look weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. Hand-drawn animation and flash animation, when used right, has a much better fluidity than these CGI animated series. CGI animated films, time, budget, because that's what it comes down to as well a lot of the time. Budget. Yeah. How long you have to make it and how much money you've got to make it, how many people you have to make it. Your Pixars, your DreamWorks, whatever, gorgeous. Look absolutely gorgeous because the movement is there. Design-wise, took them a while. Just take one look at any human in an early Pixar movie and cower in fear. The first one to not look weird was Al in Toy Story 2, but then he was also meant to look a bit scary because he was a slightly deranged villain. Yeah. So, compare him to Sid, and Al is light years away from how Sid looks in the first one. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously they get really comfortable with it, and that's how we end up with Monsters Inc. with Boo, and then Incredibles with every character's a human. Doctor Who Dreamland is, I don't know what it needed. I don't know if it needed more money. I don't know if it needed a bigger team. But some of the choices made in the the look of the animation is so questionable. They have that same thing that Clone Wars has. They look like Jerry Anderson puppets. And if they were puppets or action figures, they'd be great. The stylization of these characters, I'd buy it completely. You know? Colonel Stark and I like the Fourth Doctor callback with that. Like, Colonel Stark? Who's that? Like, you know, I'd buy these designs if they were toys. Like, they're good looking toys. Mm-hmm. They look good as toys. But they need to emote, and the 10th Doctor's got this weirdly tiny mouth and 4,000 teeth for some reason. And they barely emote with their eyes, like their eyes open and close. And it's no one's fault. I think it's a lack of things. I think it's stuff they don't have, time or money or whatever. But it's just it's not pleasant to look at.
No.
It's not pleasant to look at.
It's not, unfortunately.
Which is a shame because the script, like the shot composition, the reuse of the score, the voice acting, is really good. And I remember at the time watching this as an 18-year-old not in media and going, oof.
Oh God.
Oof. And that's not really changed. This is the second time I've properly watched it in about 9 years. 9 years!
Oh God.
And it's I can really appreciate what works about it.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I mean, I was dreading watching this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But I definitely got something out of it.
On this visit.
Yeah, I enjoyed the story. And I really liked the way that the aliens looked. What were they called again?
The Viprox.
The bugs.
Yeah, the different stages of them, even if the Queen is like just wholeheartedly ripped off from aliens, made more obvious by the fact that the script references aliens earlier on.
So I like the way they look, and I like the way they talk, that there was like a hiss behind.
Yeah. David Warner's good. It's a shame almost though to hide David Warner's voice as much as they do. It's David Warner. But I definitely did get something out of it. But it's just real ugly. Mm. Which is a shame. So out of the two of them, which would you say is the one you would revisit? Like, would you revisit either of them personally?
Yeah. The Infinite Quest. I'd probably read.
That's a great review.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I'd probably rewatch that one. But Dreamland now
that you've seen
it. Now that we've seen it again, I think it's, it can go to bed now.
We sing you one last song, Doctor.
Good night. Dreamland. Dreamland can go to Dreamland.
Yeah. It's not the only non-special 10th Doctor content on screen in the specials year. There is one other one, and we will talk about it when we get to the specials. We just thought I'd bunch these two together because it seemed appropriate since they were both animated specials, both 10th Doctor ones, both came out in parts and then had a full-length version at the end.
Yeah.
Infinite Quest is... It sounds cruel to say it, but it's a fun pun. Infinitely better than Dreamland to me, as an overall. Mm-hmm. But I would say that both of them fall under the category of put it on in the background.
Yeah.
Like, they're both very much like, if you want to watch them, go for it, don't make a night out of it. Like, you're drawing, you typing up your spreadsheet for the month or whatever, you're doing accounts, you're folding the washing, like, stick them on in the background.
Yeah.
They're pretty to look at. Sorry, this one's pretty to look at, and the stories are great, and the voice acting overall is pretty damn great. There's a bit of that niche stuff, like if you're a big Finnish fan, Lisa Bowerman and David Warner are both in this one. If you like that whole thing of actors coming back to play the parts, Anthony Stewart Head, Balthazar in here, Georgia Moffat's in this one. Like, it's, there's a lot of sort of, oh, this is fun. It's nice to see people coming back to play out. But not must-watches. Maybe you feel different from us. How do you feel about The Infinite Quest and Dreamland? Let us know in the comments down below. We will see you next time for a very short bonus episode, which could end well, or it could end in a disaster about the same size as Belgium. We'll catch you soon.
I'm going to Dreamland now. Good night. Oh.
What?
I'm tired.
Oh.